Hello everyone, welcome to Sauna. I'm your host XO, and today I have a very, very special guest, one of my friends that I'm interviewing today. And with this episode, it's just so much knowledge I was dropped throughout this whole episode. We recorded and it's like an hour and a half episode, y'all. So I'm just giving y'all a heads up, it's an hour and a half. I know y'all gonna have to hear it in different segments, so I broke the show down in different segments this time, so it's not gonna be a full interview going straight through. It'll be cut into different segments for you guys, so to give y'all a little brief break so y'all don't have to really listen to the whole podcast fully through the whole hour and a half. It's split up into different segments talking about different subjects, and as well as we're recording outside, so you're gonna hear people talking, you're gonna hear the elevator dinging, as well as the birds outside, different pets too, so be aware of that. But overall, it's a good episode. I think you guys will truly enjoy it. I can't wait for y'all to hear it, can't wait for the feedback. And right now, I ain't gonna lie, this is my favorite episode so far. But with that being said, welcome to Sauna IE. And before we start the show, I got 2 quotes for y'all. My first quote is, "There are no mistakes in life, only lessons. There's no such thing as a negative experience, only opportunities to grow. Learn and advance along the road of self-mastery. From struggle comes strength. Even pain can be a wonderful teacher." Honestly, I was going to have that as an end quote for this show, but y'all know I don't do end quotes when it comes to the interviews. And that really, that's a deep quote. Like, there are no mistakes in life, only lessons. So any mistake you think you caused in life or went through in life, and you think you're like, damn, I keep constantly making mistakes. No, you're not making mistakes. You're going through the lessons of life, the lessons of that year, You're growing as you're learning. And there's no such thing as a negative experience, only opportunities to grow. Every time you look at an experience as being as an opportunity to grow versus being a negative experience. You always can learn and advance along the road of self-mastery, as well as the struggle comes from strength. We all struggle before we get the strength, the power. And then the ending of it is, even pain can be a wonderful teacher. And my last quote is, "Inside your mind is the greatest battle for your success. Mindset is everything. Mind is key. Focus on your mindset. Focus on your mind. For any battle, anything you go into, any relationship, mindset is key. Starting with your mind, starting with what you think is key and how to plan out the process of going forward." And now, onto the show. Okay. Mic check. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sauna IE. I'm your host, XO. It is another day of the week. I'm just being grateful and being for another day. If you listen to this right now, I just want to thank you for taking the time out your day, tuning in to the podcast, and tuning in to just being supportive of the show throughout the start and finish. On today's episode, I have a very special guest. This guest today, we've been meaning to get this interview done for about months now. If it sounds like we outside, yeah, we outside. We outside recording right now. Just loving the ambience of being outside. I feel like I haven't recorded outside since season 1, episode 1. So hey, might as well get back to it. Y'all hear the dog barking. He liked the crowd. He's the fan. So y'all tuning in. Thank you. But back to my guest. My guest today. Where should we go? Like I said, we've been trying to get this interview done for months now, but now we're getting it done. Here we are in March. I know everything that went on, COVID and whatnot, and we're just back. So my guest is a voiceover specialist, a wedding photographer, which is one half of Veer the Makers. If you need wedding photographers, holla at him after the interview. Air fryer master. You know me, I love air fryer, but he takes it to a whole nother level. If you haven't followed him on Instagram, you'll follow him after this, because his air frying stuff is so hilarious, his skits. As well as being a voiceover, I feel like he's like the only Milwaukee Bucks fan in California. But ain't nothing wrong with it. And he's a diehard Bucks fan if you meet him. But without further ado, help me introduce my guest, AJ Veer.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I take pride in probably being the only Bucks fan in California. That happened in 2009 when Brandon Jennings was drafted. And I just followed the team from there. It was mainly due to I didn't really follow basketball at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to pick some random team. A buddy of mine had a poster with all the teams on it. And I was like, who are the Bucks? This is a random team. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a Bucks fan and I'm going to do it well. And then I started following it and Brandon Jennings was just drafted. And I was like, perfect. We have a young prospect going to lead the team. This is perfect chance to jump on board. And I just started following them as a joke. It eventually became a real love for the team. And now we have Giannis, we have Chris Middleton, we have Drew Holiday now.
Man.
And he actually went to Etiwanda Intermediate. He came from here.
Yeah.
So he's an IE local.
Gotcha.
So Drew Holiday, shout out to Holidays.
Shout out to Drew. He listened to a couple of episodes.
But yeah.
Man, that's crazy. We're going to let the people ride by right now. Got the people coughing. But, hey, I'm moving the whole body. Excuse the noise. Like I said, we outside. There's a lot of people out there. We can't control the environment right now or yet, but we will. But yeah, the only Bucks fan started with Brandon Jennings, picked up a random ass team, and it happened to be the Bucks out of all teams. And now they got Giannis, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, Robin Lopez, and I like seeing them play overall as a team. But that's not what he's here for. He's here for to get interviewed. Y'all know a little about the Bucks. If you're a Bucks fan, holla at me, holla at the show, holla at him. But today, we're going to get to know him a little bit more on a personal level as well as on a business level too. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a nice feeling to be able to, come out. Cassie and I played some tennis outside earlier today just to get out. We just wanted to start something new. So something that we could both do, get active, head outside. So did that today. We just got back from a vacation.
That's nice.
That was nice. And we've just been, getting back into the swing of things with school for me and the business for her. So things are going good right now.
Glad everything's going good. Y'all got out and did tennis. I'm trying to get on some tennis.
Yeah.
Is this your first time playing tennis? Are you pro, novice?
No, I am not good at all. Cassie and I have never touched our tennis rackets. My mom bought them for us 4 years ago for Christmas. She's like, oh, you could play tennis. We never did, but funny. We always had them. And so I've been recently seeing clips on Facebook of tennis players, tennis highlights, and I've just been getting into it. So I watched a couple clips on YouTube TV of past championships and past crazy good matches. I watched Venus and Serena Williams this morning. That happened in 2017. That was cool. I just watched Naomi Osaka. That was recent too. That was last week. So I watched a couple of those. I watched some Roger Federer. So I've just been getting into it. Something that we can both do and be active, and it's fun. I enjoy it.
It really looks fun, especially watching it too. But I know playing too is a different level, a different vibe when you're playing. I almost went out for tennis in high school. I was like, maybe not. Yeah, but
it's fun. I enjoy it. We're looking to do it more.
It does.
Get more familiar with it.
Isn't it good for your coordination, hand coordination?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar to baseball.
Okay.
Baseball is a little bit more difficult because it's you're swinging almost like a stick at a ball. Tennis racket, there's much more to it, but you gotta really work on the spin. It's a lot harder to get the ball to spin the right way to get it at a low, so that way you're not just hitting it and it's flying over the fence all the time.
Got
so
you.
It takes a lot of skill that I thought was was much more difficult than I thought
just
today.
Watching it, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, oh, this is easy, and then I got on the court and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing. So,
oh man. So where'd y'all take a vacation to?
It was a low key vacation. We didn't want a lot of people to know about it, but we went to Disney World. Tickets were cheap. Tickets were $57 round trip.
Damn.
And I was like, this is a lifetime of an opportunity. So
For real.
So we went with the family, kept it low key. We just wanted it to be us and not really, get judged right now about it. But, we just did us. It was actually very safe over there. Like they take very serious precautions over there. And yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. We stayed at one of the hotels. We got discount because one of our family members works for APC.
Oh, that's dope.
So got a discount, chilled, and it was cool. Yeah, I had a really good time. Haven't been able to do like a family vacation like that before. So it was just nice to get the whole fam together and do something.
That's good. That's all, man. I like that y'all really got away and did a low-key trip. And just the family, because like you said, the family trips is like rarely happens. Everybody's so busy with their lives and their schedules so that you never have time to really come together as like a family and really go take a whole vacation for like go out for like 3 to 4 days or maybe a week and just really enjoy each other's presence and just be around each other.
Yeah. So, it's we only get to do it so many times, and so this was a place we wanted to go together as a family. So it was kind of on a whim. But we made it happen, and it was really cool. Yeah, we really enjoyed the whole thing.
That's dope. What's up? What was the most memorable moment about it?
Well, this was maybe the last night before we headed back. We planned for like one last dinner that was in the castle. And the park closes early. Yeah. So they close at 7. So we got done with our dinner around 8:30. So when we walked out, the park was empty.
Dang.
There was like maybe a couple families still lingering behind, but park was empty. So we were just like, enjoying the walk out on Main Street by ourselves. And we had our little niece, and she's like a year and a half. So she was just like walking and like having the time of her life. It was like her own world, and we were just there. And it was just like, it was so perfect to just like see like the entire family just there, just like together in such like a cool place, but with nobody there, it just felt really special.
Felt like you bought out the park.
Yeah, it really felt like we bought out the park for the night and just like walked out. We like took our time, took videos of our little niece, but it was really awesome.
That's dope. That's nice. Oh man, I'm just like picturing that in my head right now. Just like you said, at night, I bet everything was all lit up, had all the lights.
Yeah,
Walt Disney World lit up. Especially you said you came out of dinner from the castle, or by you was expecting to go in the castle, but everything was just all lit up. The park was closed, and it was just real cool. It was just like it was like the cherry on top after a great vacation.
Yeah, it really was.
So that's nice, man. I have to take a vacation myself now.
Yeah, do it, man. Everybody needs some time, and that's super important to just like maintaining a healthy, balanced life is knowing when you're allowed to take breaks, knowing when it's okay to not be in grind mode the whole day or the whole week, and being able to take breaks, whether that's like you just sit on the couch and like watch TV and allow yourself to be in a break, or you actually go on a trip and take a vacation.
And that's real. That's true too. Like you say, you gotta have that work-life balance and have that balance between your life, because grinding, you grind yourself out and really just eventually just get tired and be burnt out, and you like, you need to have that time where you can escape, be with the family, have the vacation time, have the dinner at the castle at Walt Disney World, or even like you said, sit at home and just chill, watch Netflix all day. Just having that time and have that mental break and that break for yourself, which is always good. So I like that. So you said you back now, got school, Cassie's doing the business. What are you studying right now in school?
Right now, I'm studying linguistics.
Okay.
That's my major. But I'm also taking some theater classes too.
That's nice.
The goal for that is to become a dialect coach, and that's helping actors and voice actors be able to either recreate certain accents for their roles or their auditions. And that necessarily doesn't require a linguistics degree. And in fact, I might actually change it after this semester because it's my first semester at Cal State Fullerton.
Got you.
I might change it to just a specific theater degree that doesn't require me to do so much acting, because I'm not trying to be an actor like on theater stage or like an on-camera actor. I want to be a voiceover artist. And although there are some skills that I can take from the acting degree, what I really want to be able to go to school for is to become a dialect coach. Okay. And that's a very separate thing. So I'm figuring there's actually a degree that's going to be opening up in the fall that I might take advantage of. But until then, I'm just with the linguistics degree and possibly might minor in linguistics because
Okay.
it all goes hand in hand in what I want to do. So
Got you. It goes hand in hand with the long-term plan, and I like that. Like you said, that being doing the dialect coach, and when the degree does come out, are you going to like change majors and go with that, or does it stay like?
yeah, I think I'm going to change because there's recently I've been thinking like I was going to do a straight double major. I was going to do linguistics and theater, and I was just thinking like we have a lot of work and stuff, and you know, yeah, he is right there.
Yeah, the birds in it. We're gonna give y'all a brief break. We'll be right back. All right, we back. We had to get the sound under control, but we next up on the list. My next question: how did you become a voiceover artist?
This is a common question among pretty much anybody who's ever like even thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I make the first step? Where do I go? The first step is always and will always be to take classes, to learn from people.
Gotcha.
That if you take any other step to becoming a voiceover artist besides taking classes, the road is going to be so much more difficult because this is not only is it just like being an actor, being a voice actor, but it's running your own business as well.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people forget that and they think, oh, I can make, funny voices. I played video games. I watched cartoons growing up. I could do silly voices. I can sound like other people. And that's one skill, but it's another skill to actually get into the industry and understand what it takes to become a successful voiceover artist. And it's funny that I say that because like in my own vocabulary, I've tried to stay away from the words good, bad, and success because those are kind of subjective.
Yeah.
Even the word success, which is something that every person who owns a business is focused on the most. Mm-hmm. Every entrepreneur is focused on success the most. And in fact, I've tried to stay away from it because it's like, what is defining success? What is me not having a good audition take away from the fact that like I want to be successful in something? So I try to take that away, and I try to take away the words good and bad because it's the same thing. It's like, what does that really mean? Like if I'm feeling and I tell myself, oh, I don't feel good at voiceover. It's like, how does that make me any better? How does that improve my skill set? Somebody else could be listening in and saying,
damn, that's the best shit I've heard.
That's the best thing I've ever heard. Yes,
I think
exactly.
It just really comes down to perception. Mm-hmm. How people perceive things. Like you say, success. Every business wants to be successful, but it's like, what is their perception of success? Mm-hmm. Their perception of success can be different from your perception of success as a business owner.
Yeah,
theirs could be like, oh, I would just want to sell 100,000 items, and that's successful to me. And you like, nah, I just want to sell 5 things, and I'll be successful with that. Or you like, I just want to retire my family. So it's different. Success comes like at different perceptions from different people.
Right. And although like I try to take success away, I do not try to take goals away.
Gotcha.
Goals is important. If you're setting milestones and goals and you're obtaining those, then that's what's most important.
True.
And that was something that something I've been thinking mentally recently to help with my voiceover business was if I work on my skill set, the results will come.
True.
And that was something that I learned in a retail job from my boss was they wanted to focus on selling as much product as possible. Mm-hmm. And the goal was he would set goals for us and say, I want you to reach this dollar amount. But if you're focusing on number of items sold, which is a separate goal that I want you to earn, then the money will come.
Okay.
So if you're selling 5 products in one sale at a time, the money's going to follow.
Gotcha.
And I translated that into my own business. And I said, how could I take that same principle? Because it's a good principle to go by. I mean, I'm not the most excited about sales. I kind of hate sales. It just feels like, I think everybody hates sales. But like, if I work on my skill set and improving myself, the results and the jobs are going to come. If I focus so much on getting jobs and getting gigs and booking gigs, That's all I'm going to be focused on. I'm not going to be focused on what is prohibiting my ability to get those jobs.
Yeah.
If I'm focusing on my skill set, constantly worrying about bettering myself, bettering my skills, what I can bring to the mic every time I step up in my booth, then the jobs are going to come.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been really doing recently. And I think it's important to also know as a voiceover artist and building your own voiceover business is you can't be focused so much on the end goal. And this is a job this is not a job, this is a career that spans over years and years of time. This is not like you're not going to start booking things right out the gate in the first 3 years right away, unless you're some crazy prodigy or you just have raw talent that people just can't get their hands off of. Like, it's a very specific situation, but for most people and the average person, because I am just an average person, I've never seen any crazy success like come my way that didn't come from me having to work for it and me having to put in time and effort into those skills to be able to come that way. And I feel like that's everybody's goal. There's a very small percentage of people who the first time they pick something up or the very few times that they pick it up, they are automatically good. They're receiving benefits, they're receiving jobs, they're receiving things, and that's a very small percentage of people. And we see that all the time with the internet, on Instagram, on Twitter. We see these stories of people coming up, overnight successes, and that's just not the case.
It's really not. And I was just laughing, like, because on my show last week, I discussed this quote. I got it right here. And the quote is like really just discuss everything you said. It's like, you can't cheat the grind. It knows how much you invested. It won't give you anything you haven't worked for. That was literally my quote on last week's show. That's how I'm like, that's funny how the universe is working and that you're bringing it up now. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. You got to really put your build and focus on your skill set, not the end goal. You know what your end goal is. How are you going to get to that end goal? It's like you said, I got to keep working on my skill set, and then the gigs are going to come. It's like they can call me for the gigs, but what if I'm not prepared for the gigs?
Yeah, absolutely.
If my skill set's not there, and they're like, oh, we need you to do this, and you're like, oh, snaps, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna try to do it.
Right, absolutely. And if I get called in to do a specific job, like if I get called in to do promo work, which is like if you're watching a TV station and they say like Friday nights on the CW at 5, those ones, right? They're very short.
I like how you did that.
there's a specific skill set that takes, and a lot of the times it's just old dudes with deep ass voices. Shit. And that's not my general like range. Like, I can't perform that as well as somebody else. But if my agent called me and said, hey, I have this promo booking for you, and I went into it, I have not trained in that. I have no way of giving a successful read in my eyes because I haven't trained in that. I've trained in commercials the past 2 years. So if I get called in to do an audition for commercials and I knock it out of the park and then they book me for that, I know absolutely what I'm capable of doing. Gotcha. That's because I've worked for that for the past 2 years. And that's why I'm trying to build my skill set into character work, into video games, into animation, because that's where I ultimately want to work on next. Yeah. First, I want to start booking some more commercial stuff, and then I can start going into that animation character realm. But right now, I'm focusing on commercials because that's where the most money is. That's where the most jobs are going to come from.
Gotcha.
And that's another important thing about building a voiceover business. If you want to get into it, commercials are the way to go. Commercials have this trend right now. There's trends within the voiceover world of what type of voices they want. Right now, the trend is having people who just sound like normal people.
Gotcha.
They don't want the announcer dude who back in the 50s was like, Sunday, monster trucks. They don't want that anymore. They don't want the guy who's at the car dealership that's just like $10,000 and you're going to have yourself a brand new Ford Focus this year. Like, they don't want that anymore. They just want people who just sound like normal people. Like, hey, my name's Jim. I'm the manager at Del Taco, and I'd love to be able to, serve you fresh food every day. They want people that sound like that are just going to provide that type of voice, because every commercial you've heard where they're like, oh, my name's Billy, and I'm the owner of this air conditioning company. That is not the owner of the air conditioning company. That is a person in a booth who's script says, my name is Billy, I'm the owner of this air conditioning company. They want people who sound normal.
Yeah.
So anybody could do it. And this day and age with recording at home, most studios aren't even most casting directors will say that if you don't have a home studio setup, you're most likely not going to get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another step of having a successful voiceover business. Was the pandemic really shifted everybody's studios to, if you need to have your own home studio.
Yeah.
And that's something that is very important too in having a voiceover business. So the most important things is take classes. My opinion is to go into commercial first, unless you're absolutely amazingly talented in another field, and having a good home studio setup. Gotcha. And understanding your gear, understanding what it takes to give good audio, etc.
I think it's like, man, that's great tips, as well as just as doing the research too, and knowing like how the voiceover game works. Like you said, right now the biggest trend right now is commercials. Being a regular person doing commercial talk. Like, it's not like how you said before, the monster truck Sundays. It's not like that no more.
They don't do that no more. I haven't heard one of those in so many years.
And I'm just like, I just want to say thank you first off for coming on the show, and you're very talented at the voiceover work.
Thank you.
The 4 different voices you just did right now is just like, I'm like, man, I remember hearing those voices in those commercials, right, like in different tones, but I get through your voice what you're saying. So yeah, you're very, very talented at that. And it just says, like you said, keep working on your skill set, keep working, and not focusing on the sales, the gigs, focusing on the product, focusing on yourself, focusing on the craft, and having your home studio. That's the benefit of having the home studio. You're constantly working on your craft on a daily basis versus going to a studio that you have to pay for. And by the time all that adds up at the end of the month, you could have built your own home studio, just doing everything on your own. And just by having a Wi-Fi in a home studio, you're great, because you can learn on Google, learn anything you need to do about voiceover and the voiceover game.
Right. There's so many tools on the internet that it's almost inexcusable to not use it to your advantage. When it comes to anything business related. There's so many things you can just look up online if you have questions about and research, that it literally should be inexcusable to not know certain things about your business, because there's so many resources online. Of course, when you get into like things that are very specific to your thing, obviously ask somebody. You know, if you need help with taxes or something, there's going to be information online, of course. But if it's something specific to your business, then absolutely, I think reaching out to people is very important. But it's like the basics. Like if I were to ask somebody, some audio engineer, like, hey, what mic do you think is a good mic for my closet? That's a terrible question to ask. Because you could literally just type in on Google good mics for a closet and you'll have a list right there. But if you want to ask them specifics, like, hey, I'm not getting good feedback with my complete Audio 6 interface. Is it something that would be a problem with my laptop to audio interface, or would it be my mic? That's a very specific question that you're having a problem with. That would be a perfect question for an audio engineer. And I think that's also important when it comes to businesses, knowing when to reach out to people. A lot of the times we want to just figure everything out on our own. And sure, we can do that all we want, but there are people who are willing to help, that have great resources and that have great information to you that you could use. And so I think using people and asking for help is something that we should not overlook in any of our business ventures, and even just life in general, you know?
Yeah, because I think everybody just like doesn't like to ask for help or reach out for help. They're like, I got it, I'll do it my own, do everything on my own. But there's professionals out there, and there are certain fields, they're professionals for a reason. They want to help you, but it's like all you got to do is ask and open up. Especially say like when it comes to business, everything wants to be an entrepreneur and do it on their own. But there's so many resources out there, and people and the relationships that you have already within the family and friends, who knows what they can connect you to. We got like tons of resources in our phones that we can connect. Like, oh, hey, so-and-so. And then they be like, oh, I do this. Or they know what you do, that they can help you and connect you. But if you don't open up your mouth, like you say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if your mouth going to be closed, you're going to put yourself back and lose money by not hiring certain professionals to do them certain tasks, or helping or asking people. Because you could have asked somebody 2 weeks ago who could have did something for you, and you just like, oh, now I'll go ask them. And it's like you 2 weeks behind. Instead of asking them 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
So That's what it comes down to, man. I love this podcast so far. I love like the information that you're giving, the gems that you're dropping, and just like I'm just like in awe. I'm like, damn, I'm like, who would have knew? And I'm just so lost on my questions now. But we're gonna pick back up. What's your vision? Now let's stay with the voiceover. What do you feel like your weakest and best skill are in the field of voiceover?
Weakest, I would say, is
not necessarily weakest, or something you focus on working on this year. Like this year,
this year, I think is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing is something that is kind of difficult for voiceover artists if they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
What marketing would look like to a voiceover artist is reaching out to advertising agencies, or reaching out to explainer video companies, reaching out to businesses who use voiceover for their products.
Gotcha.
A lot of video production houses will use voiceover. So the part of marketing is cold calling and just sending emails.
Oh,
and it's not the funnest thing, but what I've done is I've written out a script
mm-hmm.
of what I would say on a cold call to somebody. Mm-hmm. So that way, if I get to a receptionist and I'm on the phone with them, I say, hey, this is AJ Bear. I'm a voiceover artist. I was just wondering if I could speak to your creative director
mm-hmm.
About providing voiceover for your productions. Then if they say yes, then I have a response to how I would talk to the next creative director. If they say no, then I have a response for that. So it's like I've laid out like kind of an outline for what I would say,
so
because nobody likes cold calling. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's basically just improv.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to cold call right.
Yeah.
Understand what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. And another important thing that I've seen from other voiceover artists on like LinkedIn and stuff is to understand and know who you're going to ask for.
Got you.
If I'm going to reach out to XYZ advertising agency, if I don't know the creative director's name before going into it, I haven't done enough research.
Yeah.
I need to call and say, hey, I'm looking to speak to Mark for providing voiceover for your productions.
Mm-hmm.
That shows to the receptionist, oh, he knows exactly who he's looking for.
Yeah.
And when I talk to Mark and I say, hey, Mark, I'm AJ Bear. I do voiceover and I wanted to provide voiceover productions. Just wanted to give you a call and talk to you and see if there's any work that you possibly might need in the future. And I'd love to offer my services to you. And understanding exactly who you want to talk to, especially in an email sense, so that way you could be directed to the right person, is very important too. So if you're trying to reach out to distributors, or if you're trying to reach out to specific people who you want to market out your product to,
you want to write that down.
You have to understand and do your research.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be new to somebody, like introducing new, and already saying like, hey, I've looked up a little bit about you. I know that you do
like you said, X, Y, and Z.
I know you do this at this job, and I just wanted to, extend a hand, see if I can help in any way. This is what I do. This is how I can help you. Let's see if we can make something happen, So that's something that voiceover has really taught me to do, is to be comfortable with cold calling, be comfortable with emailing people. And it's almost like how people who are in pyramid schemes, like if they work for Primerica, they work for Primerica, they're gonna message like everybody on their friends list. Everybody's gonna say no.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to be okay with when it comes to your business. And especially for voiceover, is every single one of these people are gonna say no, but somebody's gonna say yes.
Yeah.
And when they do say yes, you have to be ready for that. So all of these emails I send out, most of the time I don't even get any word back, but sometimes they'll say, hey, thanks, I'll keep you in mind. Or they'll say, hey, you know what? Your voice actually fits our roster and what we do. How is it okay if I can add you to our roster? I'll send you a couple things each week and so and so. So that's something that I find very important when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, that's very true too. I was just listening to that yesterday on a podcast where they was talking about cold calling and emailing, and they was like, the dude was like, one of the guys was like, I hate cold calling. Well, I didn't like cold calling at first. It wasn't his thing, and the other dude was like, man, I love cold calling because, like you said, you have a script. Once you have that script, it's like, oh,
it's easy.
It's easy.
You do the
like,
same thing every time.
Yeah, every time you call somebody, it's like, oh, let me say someone, hey, hello, this is so and so. I do this. This is how I can help your business. And like you say, you do your research so you know who you're speaking to. So you're not just calling like, hey, my name is this. Can I speak to the creative director? Like, no, my name is XO. May I speak to Mark about what I do, my services, or however it is. So you do your research and really have that script down and know, there's going to be no. I think we're so afraid of rejection. Like a lot of people don't like hearing no. They want to hear yes instantly, but it's like you got to go through no's to get to your right yes. So
you're gonna go through 1,000 no's, possibly more thousands of no's before you can finally get to a yes.
Yes,
and that yes could launch you into the next step of your business, and that's all you need. You just need one yes from a certain person, and that's what I think is the most important thing: is to not be afraid to hear no. And that's a huge thing, especially when it comes to cold calling, because you're going to get so many voicemails, so many people just saying, oh yeah, he's in a meeting right now. Can I take down your number? Because that right there automatically tells me they're not interested. So I have to be okay with, if I hear they're in a meeting, I'm not going to hear back from them.
Yeah, facts. That's so true. That is very true. And I'm like, man, I lost my train of thought. I'm going to give y'all a brief break. I'll be right back. Next up on this segment, we're going to talk to him more about the wedding photography side, his wedding photography business with his wife, how it came about, what it takes to run a business with your lover / best friend / wife / significant other, and seeing what advice he would give to like couples that's going into business together, or even couples that's maybe where one's an entrepreneur and one is an entrepreneur, where one's focusing on their own career path. So with that, I'm gonna hit him with the first question. What are you more passionate about, voiceover or wedding photography?
I feel like I'm leaning more towards voiceover, and that's because it's my own venture. Wedding photography was something that I did to help out Cassie at the time. And I ended up really enjoying it, and I do really enjoy it. And I'm glad that we were able to make this happen together as a business. And it wasn't until, a couple years ago where I found out about voiceover and started wanting to do that on my own. But I think the thing that we've realized recently was the amount of time that it takes to do both businesses. And, it's a lot. It's a lot to be able to jump into two things fully and give it your all in both things.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I don't like wedding photography. It doesn't mean that I prefer voiceover work over wedding photography, but it's just kind of where I'm having to spend a lot of time. I'm having to spend a lot of time on getting my voiceover stuff up and running, but that doesn't give me as much time to focus on video editing or resources to better my video editing or my video shooting and stuff. And that's one thing that we're navigating through is my time management, and with school too. Now it's not just voiceover marketing and doing all that stuff and doing all the classes, but it's me doing school full-time plus voiceover, plus still having time to be able to better myself for wedding photography. So it's kind of just a lot. We're just juggling a lot right now. And that's what we're kind of navigating through, is how can we figure out the best use of our time.
Gotcha.
Into being able to hit everything all at once. So that's something that we're working on right now. But I just want to, I want to get good results from voiceover.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No good. But I want to get good results from voiceover. I want to get to where I want to be with it. And so I'm just working towards, making that happen.
So it's voiceover. I know you still debating and still leaning between. He's like, I think I'm gonna do voiceover. And I understand that too. Like you said, you're just trying to really decide how to put everything into time blocks. Like you very, I want to say not necessarily mastered, but you mastered the craft of videos and wedding photography, where you're like, all right, let me see what I can do. Like you said, this is your own venture, voiceover. You're like, got inspired and to do it 2 years ago. Let me see what I can do with it. Oh, I'm good at it. And you like, once you keep seeing progress, you want to keep doing it. But now you're like, okay, now I got school. Now I got wedding photography. Now I got voiceover. And I still have to be a husband at the same time. So really juggling all those. And you really like seeing, like, I know you can make it through it. But
yeah,
like
it just takes a lot of work to be able to juggle all things. And that's what, I mean, not everybody's going to have the most perfect ideal situation for their business ventures. And some people have kids that they deal with. Some people are, single parents and they want to be able to create their own business and stuff. And everybody has their own obstacles, and everybody has their own schedule for how they manage their time. And so it's different for everybody. Everybody has their own journey. And I think the most important thing is to just understand that going at your own pace is okay. You don't have to, there's no timeline that you have to be successful at a certain age. There's no timeline, like that doesn't exist.
Unless you set it for yourself.
Unless you're setting goals. But goals should not stress you out. Like you should not be stressed to obtain goals.
It's true.
I mean, unless they're like medical goals, there's unless you're like dying, and you have to be on a certain diet. But I'm talking about like business goals and stuff. They should not stress you out, because I've learned that if you set a goal for yourself and you don't obtain it by a certain date, there's nothing stopping you from pushing the date longer and still trying to get the goal done. There's no difference. You're just setting up a timeline for yourself. And if 6 months away from now, you're saying, you know what, I plan to finish my novel. 6 months comes by, you don't finish your novel, extend the date, do it another 6 months. Say, you know what, it might take a year to do my novel, but by the end of another 6 months, I want to have the novel done. Yeah. There's no reason why you should be stressing out come the first end of the 6 months. You know what I mean? Like you put too much pressure on yourself to be able to make things happen. And I think it's okay to understand that you don't have to always make deadlines.
Yeah, damn. That's true. If you're listening right now, you out there like thinking like, dang, I got a deadline on my goal. I got to meet this goal. It's like, don't stress yourself out over it. We all doing the best we can, especially with everything that's going on. It's just like staying focused on you, yourself, and you and yours, and like looking at them goals and seeing like being realistic. Like, can you meet the your 6? Can you write a novel in 6 months? Like using that as example, or will it take you a whole year to write? Be realistic with yourself when it comes to goals. Don't set goals and you're not going to be able to write a book in 6 months because you got so much on your plate at the time. So it's like there's short-term goals, there's long-term goals, and there's that we all set in our lives, and it's not like stressing ourselves out. It's just being real with ourselves in that time, in that moment, and being honest and really having check-ins and seeing that progress. It's different if in 6 months you wrote half a book. You're like, okay, now it takes me a whole year to write one full book. You tracking your progress along with the goals, and you're not stressing yourself out. So, but I like that. I like that you really let me know. And like you said, that stress and goals, juggling everything, it's like, well, you're only one person. You can't do it all. Don't try to do it all. There's other people out there for help. You feel me? Especially when it comes to goals too. There's people out there that you can really reach out to. Like, hey, I know you accomplish goals. How do you do it? How do you stay focused? What do I need to do? Is like just reaching out and asking for help, whatever it comes down to. Not trying to put everything on your shoulders. Not trying to juggle too many plates. Trying to wear too many hats at once. So that's what it comes down to. Do you feel like, well, let's start with this. How'd you get started with wedding photography?
Cassie bought a camera and she wanted to make YouTube videos, as anybody who, grows up in this generation wants to. And eventually she started taking pictures with it. She was doing a couple pictures for like grad sessions, and then she ended up getting a job at a clothing boutique in Claremont to do their social media. So she would take pictures of models with the clothes, and then she posted it on Instagram, and that was like, quick buck,
quick money,
making, maybe $100 a week on social media with it. And eventually one of the girls needed somebody to shoot their wedding. And then Cassie's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And she's like, but I need help. Can you do it too? I was like, yeah, sure. We only got like $250 for that wedding. just significantly low price for shooting a wedding.
Yeah,
but it was like the first one we've ever done, and I mean, turned out really good. Like it was really fun to do. And that's kind of where it started, you know. So we did that one, and then it was just kind of word of mouth from there.
Okay.
Like, you know, we're able to post. That's the nice thing about Instagram, is kind of like it's catered to pictures. So we're able to post it on Instagram and say, hey, you know, we shot our first wedding. And it was just word of mouth from there. Knew a lot of friends at the church. So, you know, young Christians like to get married all the time. So it's like there's a lot of resources there. I guess a lot of potential clients there. So it just kind of, you know, our circle was, you know, needing a lot of, you know, photos, and then it was just word of mouth from there. A lot of it was word of mouth. I would say only like maybe 20% of what we get are from cold references, like, or sorry, I should say cold calls to us.
Yeah.
Only about like 20% of our business is that. A lot of the time it's word of mouth, or people have been following us, and then they just reach out to us. So that's kind of how it started, and then unfolded into what it is now.
What did it blossom to? What made y'all? When did y'all decide that y'all want to make this a business?
I think it was June of 2018 was when we figured, like, Cassie can do this full time.
Gotcha.
And I was not able to do it full time because I was still working. I think at that time it was Chick-fil-A. And I was also
Sundays.
I think it was Chick-fil-A closed on Sundays, and I would go from Chick-fil-A. I was also teaching a couple schools for drumline.
That's dope.
So I was teaching, and then I would do on the weekends. I would help Cassie do photos, and then eventually we merged it into like a husband and wife creative duo, and then launched Bear the Makers. We weren't married at the time, but we knew we were going to get married eventually.
Yeah.
And that her last name would change, so it would be fitting that it would be Bear the Makers. So
I love the name, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Once we merged that, then it was kind of just from there. A lot of people like the idea of the husband and wife duo because it just didn't seem like some photo company, some random photo company with a bunch of, you know, freelance employees that they just send to places. You know, it's a little bit more personal. That's something Cassie and I try to do too, is be more personal with the clients, because it's never fun to be on such an intimate day and it just feels like a job, you know?
Yeah.
You want to be friends with the people that you're shooting, friends with the people that you're taking these photos for.
That's true.
And that's where we kind of just build that relationship.
Gotcha. We'll give a brief break. And we back. I know we keep cutting off, going to different segments, but you know, like I said, we recording outside, nice ambience. It's a great day in California, and we just really feeling it. And shout out to all the people that's walking by, looking at us like, what they doing? Yeah, we recording. You see the mic. But yeah, we are out here. Back to the interview though. Shout out to you and your wife though. Y'all do amazing work when it comes to Bear the Makers. I've seen like the work that y'all done with each wedding and all the weddings that y'all done. I'm like, yo, can I be a wedding crasher? every time I think of wedding, I just instantly think of wedding crasher.
I know. Sometimes it feels like that, because like the basic level of what we do is we just go to parties. That's what
it seems like.
That's what being a wedding photographer is. We just go to parties.
Man, that's so crazy. I love it though. Quick question. I know you guys said y'all shot in Greece, or y'all did a wedding in Greece.
We didn't get to do it yet because the pandemic happened. It would have happened last June.
Yeah.
They rescheduled it to this June.
Okay.
The thing is that Greece is kind of a little more strict on who's coming in. At the moment now, they are not allowing U.S. citizens to come in, but with the vaccine rolling out as it is right now, I think I just saw something that said that the U.S. plans to have all adults vaccinated by May. I'm trying to get the vaccine. Cassie and I are trying to get the vaccine, so that way they have no reason to turn us down to come into the country.
Yeah.
And plus, I think by the time June rolls around, I think things might be slowing down a bit.
Gotcha.
So we might be okay. But if all goes to plan, this June we'll be able to shoot in Greece.
For sure.
And that's been one that we've been looking forward to for a long time. Not just because it's in Greece, but the people that we're going to be doing the wedding for are such awesome people.
That's dope.
They met us on Facebook. We talked to them. We went to France for vacation, and we met up with them.
Oh, that's nice.
And we met them. They took us around France, and we just hung out with them. And they were just such genuine, sincere people.
That's dope.
And it just made me want to shoot that wedding so much more. Just because I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel
it's
like I want to do a good job for them because I care about them. And so that's one wedding that we're really looking forward to.
Got you. So what is your favorite wedding so far that you shot?
Favorite one we've shot so far? I would say one of my favorites was we did it for a high school friend that we were in band with. And on the night before her wedding, they stored all of their decorations and table decor in a barn on the property.
Okay.
They were getting married on her aunt's property, and the barn burnt down the night before the wedding.
That's crazy.
It was the saddest turn of events that ever happened. But what was so beautiful about that wedding was all the family came in and they were bringing things. They were bringing antiques in. They were bringing decorations in, and they put together such an amazing day still, despite such a tragic loss of all of their stuff. And not only that, but it was family property. So that's a sentimental piece of the property, you know? So it was tragic, but to see the beauty of two families coming together to help out on such a day was really what I found was the most important value of what marriage is in general, was family coming together and being there for one another. And Cassie and I both felt like that was such a beautiful display
of love
and what it means to actually get married and to have a wedding. And so we always classify that one as our favorite. That happened maybe 2 years ago, but it was definitely one of our favorites by far.
That's real, and I think, like you said, that symbolizes love, a family, them coming together. Especially, like, what are the odds that the barn burns down with everything in the wedding the night before? Like,
it's just
somebody's ex was mad. I'm just playing, but that's crazy. But I like it, though. Like you said, that they came together. They could have been like, no, let's reschedule. But no, the family's like, no, this is what our family's about.
Absolutely.
And they came together as one and united and really made the wedding happen. So I really like that. What does it take to run a business with your significant other, lover / best friend / the woman of your dreams? Like, I know, like, there's times y'all butt heads, there's times that y'all just can't get away from each other because y'all love each other so much. So what does it take to, like, really run a business together? How do y'all get the space? Whatnot?
Well, Cassie and I have been kind of working together for a long time now. Cassie and I both taught high school band together. We both taught at one high school. We both worked at Chick-fil-A together. And we spent a lot of time together, but also knew how to turn it on and turn it off.
Gotcha.
Like when it came to our, relationship. Because growing up, we were high school sweethearts, and in high school we were in marching band together. And something that was like really instilled in us there was like no PDA. Like when you're here, like you're here for this, like you have your friends and stuff, but it almost is like you're taking it way too seriously. Like when we were in high school, like sometimes it felt like we'd take it way too seriously. But that's just kind of like how our relationship kind of started. Our relationship started on a basis where we would know when it's okay to be a couple, and we would know when it's okay to, get stuff done. And so that kind of translated into the workforce, because then we went into teaching band together, and it was the same thing, same principle. And then we went into working at Chick-fil-A together, and we were working there for 5 months before somebody was like, "Hey, are you and Cassie dating?" And I was like, "Yeah, we are. Why?" He's like, "Oh, somebody just told me." They're like, "How long have you guys been together?" And I was like, "Oh, 5 years." And they're like, "What? You guys been together for 5 years?"
That's crazy.
And nobody knew until 5 months into us working, because it's just We just knew
when to keep it professional,
professional and when to not. And that's what kind of ties into how it is now. You know, we value each other. We love each other. We come to each other when there's problems. Something that I could probably do better is not taking criticism so personal.
Yeah.
And I think that's a tip for, like, if you want to work with your significant other, not to take things so personal when it revolves business, because you would say that same information to somebody who you are not in a relationship with, but it just feels different because you know you're in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
If you're doing a bad job and we work at the same company and you're doing a bad job, then I'm going to tell you that you're not doing a good job, but that doesn't mean I don't like you anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just it. That's something a really important factor in maintaining a business with your spouse or somebody you're in a relationship with.
Yeah, that's true too. Like you said, just really finding that common ground. That's crazy that y'all been getting together since, like you said, your high school sweethearts, and y'all just knew like when to keep it professional and when not to. Like you said, it blossomed being in the band where it's like no PDA, no nothing, and then you went to Chick-fil-A and y'all still kept it professional. But when then y'all clocked out, it was like, oh, I love you, it's us. So that's what, like you said, it comes down to just wanting to know when to keep it professional and when to be intimate, and as well with the business. And like you say, y'all know when to turn it off, and y'all just know, like, at the end of the day, we still love each other, but this is a business, and we got to have the business operate how we want to operate it, and as well as not taking the criticism too harshly from our loved one. It's like, yeah, like you said, if Bob said something to me, you be like, all right, cool, thanks, Bob. You wouldn't really care, but since it's the one person you love, you're like, wait, what? And you really like, you feel some type of way, and it's like, no, you can't feel that way because it's just constructive criticism. At the end of the day, and they're really trying to help you out. It's not them trying to really belittle you or tear you down. It's like, hey,
it's like just understanding and knowing when to pick your battles. Like knowing when something is a business problem or knowing when something is like a personal problem.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's kind of up to you to decide, like, is that something I need to fix because of my personality, or is that something I need to fix because I'm just not doing it well in a business standpoint, you know?
Facts, and that's real. So if you're listening right now and you a couple, or you and your significant other trying to start something on a business wise, just know, like, it's the difference between keeping it business professional and intimate, and really just not taking any criticism too harshly, and really just having each other's back throughout everything. Because at the end of the day, it's y'all, and it's y'all as the business, y'all the business owners, and y'all creating a business. So there's no need to really, when y'all get into a business and y'all have friction. So make sure y'all really have each other's back and support each other throughout anything and everything, because the business world is a whole different animal from the relationship world. So just keep that. Let me see. We're going to flip to a next question. We're going to go to your childhood. How was your childhood growing up? Were you a Bucks fan? No,
I was not a Bucks fan. I was actually a baseball fan growing up.
Okay, for what team?
For the Angels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I liked the Angels growing up because that's what my dad liked and that's what my grandpa liked. So it's just like I just did what my parents liked.
Yeah.
So I remember watching the only time they've ever won a World Series. I remember that moment, and it was glorious, and then they've sucked forever since.
That's crazy.
Grew up liking baseball. I grew up, as a skater. I'd skate with my friends all the time, every chance I could. And that was kind of like my motivation for, like, that's kind of like a goal that I had that got me through my childhood, was wanting to become a pro skater.
Oh, that's dope.
And that was the one thing I wanted to do. Obviously, like, I did other things. I, played video games when I was at home. We'd ride our bikes, do stupid things like make dirt jumps or like break into the schools and go skating. But like, I think for the most part, like, my childhood consisted of, it's like hanging out with friends here, skating, having a good time, and just kind of enjoying life. And that was kind of what my childhood was like. And I don't have anything crazy stories that just happened. I mean, everybody's parents fight. But I mean, my parents are still going strong, and not everybody has that luxury of having both parents all the time. But, my parents have stuck it through some like hardships and things that happened, like our house getting foreclosed was something that I would never understand as a kid. And even though my parents would be fighting all the time, it's just a fight to me.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older and I realize like there's a lot of stress in the house because of the house getting foreclosed and all the stuff that went on with the 2008 economic crisis. Like I was way too young to understand that stuff. And at the time I just was like, oh, my parents are just fighting because they don't like each other. But now that I understand, like there was some real stuff happening back then that was out of their control. So I understand, like, you know, some things happened in my childhood that I wish didn't, but it was because of a certain time that's not really how my parents felt. And that's something that I always thought I had a rough childhood because of that, but it wasn't the case. It was just a hard time for pretty much everybody, but I didn't understand that as a kid.
Yeah, because you was a kid viewing it, so you didn't know how to interpret it, like you said.
Right.
It was just seeing like, oh, every parents fights. They're just fighting and whatnot. But now that you look back, you're like, oh, now I have a perspective on what was going on in 2008. And now I know it's like, oh, well, I understand why they were going through what they were going through. The house was filled with stress, and then it's just like everything getting foreclosed was just tough on everybody. But now you're looking back, you're like, I'm actually grateful for the times because now I have the perspective on what happened and just knowing that their love was greater than the foreclosure and everything.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of my perspective on my childhood was just, it was good. You know, I had great friends. I had great people around me. I was able to hang out on the block and just go skate with neighborhood kids around. Nice. And it was just like
good old days,
just the good old days, you know, it was just simple times.
I'm just thinking back, like nowadays, you don't see no kids outside riding bikes or skating.
I used to meet random kids on the street, never knew their name, and I'd be hanging out with them all day.
Same.
I can't even tell you their names anymore. But when I was a kid, we were hanging out and having the best time of our lives, you know? Like
that is the best times. What inspires or motivates you?
It inspires and motivates me. I always find myself finding motivation in new activities. I always get inspired by
tennis today.
Like tennis today. Yeah. Like that's like a new thing. And that kind of just motivates me to try new things.
Got you.
Things that inspire me are, certain people, certain people inspire me. I look up to like kind of like comedians and stuff.
Top 5 right now.
And top five comedians. Adam Sandler's one of them. I love Adam Sandler. It's the Wayans brothers because of their approach to filmmaking.
Got you.
And they were basically saying, you know what, we're not getting thrown anything our way. We're going to create our own stuff.
That's so
and
smart.
They created Scary Movie, and they created like all the disaster movies, and they created what's that one show?
The Wayans.
I think it's like the Wayans Family or something like that. They had a show with David Wayans on it.
I'm trying to think. I think you're talking about My Wife and Kids.
That's what I thought. I thought that was their show. So like they created stuff because things weren't handed their way, and I thought that was super, super inspiring, especially in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, most definitely.
And Adam Sandler literally did the same thing. He was like we're not like the most attractive, like Hollywood dudes, but I'm gonna get all my friends together and we're gonna make the funniest movies. And I thought, and
still doing it to this day.
And I love that about them. A couple other ones. I can't think on the spot right now. But anyways, like I just
put you on the spot.
I love them. Giannis is obvious inspiration. Humble beginnings.
Yes.
Family man, and is just all about hard work and perseverance. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Bucks now, because when he came in, it was like a new like feeling for all the fans, but just his mindset and his personality and who he is as a person is something that I really am inspired by.
Yeah.
Musicians too. Couple musicians that I could think of right off the bat. Like the band, the 1975, I really enjoy. I love the vibe that they give, and that type of music inspires me. People like Mac Miller and his perspective on life, and people like that. People that just view life differently, view opportunities differently. Those are the type of people that inspire me the most.
I like that. That inspired me because that's true. Like you said, that view life differently. That once they get the opportunity, they hold on to the opportunity and really try to bring it out, like show their side of everything. Like you said, they have a different view of life. Mac Miller, he had a different view. The way he did everything with music and whatnot, he was really passionate. He loved it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Giannis, Giannis, his whole upbringing. Every time I see it, I'm like, man. And I'm just like, besides the upbringing, I'm surprised like half his brothers are in the NBA now. Like,
right.
I'm like, what?
Dude, he's there's one more who's in a Spanish league
Mm-hmm.
that I think he should be getting drafted either next year or the following. Like that's obviously his goal.
Yeah.
But like that work ethic that
Mm-hmm.
the whole family has, it's just it's
incredible.
It's incredible. And people are always saying like Giannis is cocky. Like when somebody says that, I automatically know they do not watch him play
or him as a person.
or know him as a person. Yeah. All they see is highlights by Bleacher Report who are LeBron stans, obviously they're going to keep showing the same shot of Giannis missing a free throw when literally like Giannis has like double the amount of free throws in a season as LeBron does. And that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But like, I have to be well equipped on this information because I live here in SoCal, so I have to be on top of my information when it comes to defending my team.
Got you. That is so funny. Oh man, I can't wait I gotta watch some basketball tonight. Man, I can't wait for the playoffs.
I know,
man, it's gonna be so incredible. I think we got a month or 2 months. 2 months till playoffs, man.
Something like that.
So, all right. My last lineup of questions, we're about to sum up the show. My first question is, what comes to mind when I say mental health?
First thing I think of is like anxiety and depression. And I think when people talk about mental health, those are the first that comes to mind in a general sense. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's pretty much the same for everybody because it's like a majority of people kind of suffer from those two things at some point in their life. Mm-hmm. And I think it's something that's important to bring into the discussions now because we are aware of the fact that it exists.
Yeah.
Before in like the 70s and 80s, like those terms were not thrown around as much as they are now.
Yes.
Before then it was just you're nervous or you're sad.
Yeah.
But there was no determining and expressing what those feelings were. Like I'm not just sad. Mm-hmm. Like there's so much more to it. I'm not just nervous. There's physical changes happening in my body because of this nervousness that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And we now have the resources and the observations of what these two things are. And it's not mental health. It's not just those two things. I'm just using them as examples, but because we are aware of the fact and we have more information on it, we should be discussing it more.
Yes. That's so true. I like how you elaborated on that a little bit more. Like you said, mental health in the 70s, they didn't really know what it was. They just said, oh, you're jittery or you're nervous or however it is. But now it's like it's more classified where mental health just gets thrown around really every day within every field. And it's like you have to take account and be aware of your mental health through anything and everything because life is tough. Life will challenge you with the ups and downs, with
Absolutely.
The trials and tribulations, with the firings, the hirings. Just life comes at you tough, and it's just like all comes back to what are you doing for your mental health, or how are you taking care of your mental health, and doing like necessary steps, or even if you feel like you said, if you're feeling like you feel like nervous or you having body changes or something like that, just reaching out to the right people or doing the research too. Doing the research and just reaching out to the right people and seeing, oh, why am I feeling this way, or why am I going through this, or how do I change or not change? How can I find help or reach out to help or figure something out like that? Mm-hmm. We'll give you a brief break. We'll be right back. And we back. I got a quick question. I know we still talking about mental health. What are your top 3 Adam Sandler movies?
Top 3? We're going to go with I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. We're going to go with Happy Gilmore.
That's one of my favorites too.
And Grown Ups.
Grown Ups?
Yeah.
Grown Ups over Waterboy?
I haven't seen Waterboy since I had it on VHS, so I'll have to go back. But the reason being I say Grown Ups is because of how stupid it is, and because it was like he literally got all of his friends, and it was just like they're just hanging out.
Yeah.
But happened to be shooting a movie at the same time.
So
That's why I just love those series, mainly because it's like outrageously stupid, and he was completely aware of the fact of how dumb that movie was.
He was.
I remember he even tweeted out, he said, if I don't win an Oscar for Uncut Gems, I'll literally make a movie that's 10 times worse than Grown Ups on purpose as a punishment.
That's crazy. Uncut Gems is a fucking classic.
I haven't seen it. I never got a chance to see it. I gotta watch
that
it.
Movie. It's like I saw it one time and I was like, yo, this movie is dope as fuck. And I'm like, I gotta go back and see it.
I gotta check it out. Yeah. I wish I was able to see it in theaters.
Man, that'd have been hard. Yeah. All right, back to topic. I know we strayed off a little bit. Are you aware of your mental health?
You know, I am. I'm aware of what limitations I have. I'm aware of what I can do, but I'm also aware of like my breaking points and my weaknesses when it comes to my own mental health. I have a problem with my frustrations. Growing up as a kid, I had really bad anger problems, but it died down as I got older. I was able to control those more. But sometimes I get way too frustrated, and it's at myself.
Gotcha.
And I don't, it's not like frustrations I have on other people. I don't harm other people. I don't like throw things at people. I don't verbally abuse people, but it's very self-deprecating, like frustrations that I have. And I'll be upset with myself and I'll talk myself down. And those are things that is the hardest for me to deal with. And I know kind of how I can get to that point.
Gotcha.
So it's just preventing it from happening is what I can work on best.
Gotcha. And it's good that you are aware and that you know like your strengths and your weaknesses. Like you said, when growing up, frustration was my biggest thing. I've learned how to really tame it. And now these days I have them conversations with myself when I'm frustrated with myself. But I know like I talk myself down and really talk to myself like, yo, whatever. I don't know what you'd be frustrated about, but I know there's different things. We all have frustration conversations with ourselves. It's life. And where we do have to talk ourselves down, we have to maybe do some deep breathing or maybe go for a walk or play tennis or even just go get enthralled in your work where you're like, I'm gonna just go do some voiceover.
Yeah.
Or work on my craft or something like that to where you can take your mind off it and you're like, oh, why was I mad at it again? And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
So I know what you mean by that. Do you think mental health should be a subject in school?
I think it should be.
As far as school, I'm saying like elementary, middle school, and high school. Those phases.
That's what I figured. Since those are the most accessible to people, the general public, I definitely think it should be talked about. I think more at a high school level.
Yeah.
I think there are things that are talked to. I think there are certain subjects that, if taught to children at certain stages of their life, won't stick.
Gotcha.
And that's been a big thing because the common argument is, why don't they teach how to do taxes? Why don't they teach real estate in school? Why don't they teach real life skills in school? And as much as people have said that, I've actually had my own perspective on that. And to me, it's like if you told me at 17 in high school about taxes and real estate and all that stuff, I would not have listened.
Yeah.
I would not have cared at all. And that's one thing that I feel is significant across the board, is that most kids are not going to take taxes seriously. Most kids are not going to take like an stock market class seriously. It's not until they get into the adult world and they start to realize on their own and they learn about it that like I can take it seriously. But at the same time, as common as mental health is, and as aware of that kids are of it, I think it is important to bring that into schools. I think it is important to talk to high school students about that because that's where we see it a lot. We see it in middle schools too. And maybe it should be brought in middle school kind of at not such an in-depth perspective on it. I think it should be introduced in middle school. I mean, they have that family
family life, sex education brought to 8th graders. I think at the same time that's happening, conversations about mental health should also be happening to middle schoolers, because I mean, suicide rates among children are skyrocketed because of the internet and because of social media platforms. And a lot of it is happening at the like beginning preteen, teenager ages, and that's where we're finding middle schoolers at, and early high schoolers. So I think it is important to bring it into school.
Man, I agree 100% with everything you said. I agree that it should be taught in school. Like you said, from your perspective, whereas teaching taxes, real estate, and everything like 17, 18, like what are that? Because I'm thinking back at economics class, I'm like, damn, what did I retain?
Right. I don't remember. I don't remember anything about economics, and I didn't care about it then. Yeah. It wasn't until I got older and the pandemic happened that I understood. Like, I started to understand a interest that I had in personal finance and the stock market. And I told myself then, I was like, we're at quarantine at home. I'm going to do research every day, like just 15 minutes a day on stock market info.
Got you.
And personal finance info. And relating it today, like I check it every day. Like I keep up with it because I understand the importance of my own personal finance journey and how keeping money in a place that is growing is better than keeping it in a savings account. And that's just from my own research, and I've taken that into account. But that wasn't something that I'm going to discuss as a 17-year-old with no job, with no money, with no understanding of what I want to do with life. There's no point, in my opinion.
That's true. Like I said, I didn't retain. Only thing I want to say is, only thing I remember to this day real vividly is the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I still have to this day. I got it from my economics teacher, and I still have that. And it's crazy how the whole wave shifted with Rich Dad Poor Dad, like these times in there.
Yeah.
And I just read that book like at least once a year, just to get my mind refreshed. Like you said, personal finance, financial literacy, and just getting stuff involved with the stock market, having more assets than liabilities, and like you said, having that saving, not having the savings, but investing that money, because the savings is cool, but it's like it's better to have your money working for you.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Having those instead of having like 1,000 in the savings, like, oh no, let me put this in the stock market where you see the returns and everything, see the dividends,
right?
And just really have, like I said, how it's working for you and you're investing into something instead of. With inflation, your money in your savings account is not really going anywhere. It's just being saved.
It's always important to have an emergency fund, but if you have more money than what your emergency fund dictates, whatever that is, whatever value that is, it's smart to understand that it can grow in the market,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a conversation for another time. But
we'll have that conversation for sure. For sure.
There's so much research that can be found online that it can help you understand financial literacy. And I really think that it's very important in today's day and age when we have the tools that we can do that. And I think it's part of just feeling financially free, to be honest, is I've never felt more financially like free than when I started researching this stuff and understanding like what I can do with my money.
Man, that's facts. That is so true. That's what I've been doing like the past like 4 to 5 months, just really focusing on financial literacy. Well, the past year, it just seemed like it's been 4 to 5 months, but the past year, just really focusing on financial literacy, looking at different tools, researching and looking into the stock market. I eventually want to get into real estate too, but it's just like taking the baby steps and really learning everything, doing the research. I think that's the biggest thing, doing your research and just having the strategy that you want to use.
You have to plan for it all. You can't just go into it cold feet, It has to be researched on, has to be learned about.
That's so true, man. All right, last 3 questions. We ain't gonna hold y'all up all day. Last 3. First one is, what do you think? What is more important, time or money?
Time, absolutely. Because if you're not using your time wisely, then you could be making no money.
Yeah.
Of course, money is necessary to live, but time is the most important thing that we have. Like, I've realized that so much. Like, if I'm not utilizing my time correctly, then my goals are not going to be made. My money is not going to be made. And I think that's the most important thing that we all have is if we're not being smart with our time, if we're not spending 15 minutes a day working out, then we're going to develop problems with our body. If we're not taking the time to take care of ourselves in a financial side of things, then we're not going to have any money to be able to live the rest of our lives. You have to understand that the importance of time and how much an hour of your time spending on your business can do for like your livelihood. If you're not spending an hour each day on your business on specifically growth and investing in your skills, if you do that over the course of a month, that's 30 hours that you could have spent growing your business, but instead you did something else that was not worth your time, that would earn you more money. And me and Cassie have really taken that to heart. This year was how important our time was in our business and to grow our money and to grow, who we are as people.
That's so true. Like, I agree with you too. Everything you said, I'm like, I agree 100%, especially time is more valuable than money, and especially how you spending your energy, like you said, dedicating to your craft, focusing on your craft, focusing your time to make more money, putting that hour in on a daily basis to grow your business over that. So that whole month you have a 30 hours collected up of, damn, I learned this with my business, and that information is like so vital and so key.
Same thing goes for like family too. If you're setting aside time for your family, that's time that you're never going to get back in the future. Like, spend time with your family, spend time with your loved ones too, and not just spend time scrolling on Instagram. Make phone calls, talk to your family, and make those memories with people that you love the most, because we're not going to have all the time in the world to do things that we want to. And most things that people say when they're older is, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time to spend with my grandkids. I wish I had more time to hang out with my children. That time's all gone. Time is a limited resource, as is water, as is shelter, as is food. Time is another one of those limited resources that we have. So that's why I find it much more important than money, because money is an infinite resource. Like, we can get money if we try and work hard. We can earn money somehow. That's something that will be there always. Time will not always be there.
Man, that's facts. I kind of want to end it on those, but I still got two more questions. I'm like, I just want to end the episode now. We're done. Adios, people. But all right, my last two questions. First one is, how can I help you with anything that you're trying to do, pursue, any goals, anything?
If you have any projects that you need, if you need voiceover for, or if you need second shooters or anything, like, let me know, because anything that I can do for my services helps me.
Got you.
I appreciate the messages you send every now and then, checking in on me. Those are cool. I appreciate those. Like, those are nice to just, tell somebody how you doing. It's not that hard to send a text. And you never know what somebody's going through, So
that's facts.
I mean, I appreciate those, what you've been doing so far. So
no problem.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. We're all a family at the end of the day. Men as friends turn into family. That's how it goes, people. We all a family. My last question. What kind of impact do you want to make?
What kind of impact do I want to make? I think the biggest thing that I want to do is like, just being a good family man. I want to be that grandpa that you'll see at the park playing with his granddaughter while you're walking down the street. I want to be that father that helps their kids understand how hard life is sometimes, and being a good husband and being a good father. I guess those are like my main things. Like I want to impact my family. You know, if I have a kid, I don't want them to go through the struggles that I went through. I don't want them to grow up to be an 18-year-old that doesn't understand what they're going to do and they're beating themselves up. But I want to be able to give them helpful information. I want to tell them that it's okay to not understand what you're going to do at 18 because nobody should. Nobody should understand what their entire life should be about at the age of 18.
Have it all
it's not possible. You know, I want to be able to give my kids good advice because, you know, I'm only 25, but I've learned some things. You know, I know things about life, especially things that are recent because, you know, it's happened to me in the past couple of years. So, you know, while those things are still fresh and I don't get too outdated, you know, I want to be able to be that for, you know, my kids, my family, stuff like that, you know.
I like that. So you just want to impact and be the family man and impact your family.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And I mean, another thing that was impactful for me as a kid was kind of like cartoons
That's true.
and video games, and those things impacted my life like substantially. Like the reason why I joined band in the first place was because SpongeBob played his nose as a flute for like 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds, like 2 seconds in the intro. And I was like, oh, I'm going to join band because of SpongeBob, you know, because he played on his nose on the flute.
I remember the Super Bowl show. That's
right. And so I ended up joining band, and I do it all through my, you know, public school life. That's where I met my wife. That's an important step in my life because of a decision I made when I was a kid because I saw SpongeBob playing a flute on his nose. And
shout out to SpongeBob.
Dude, for real, shout out to SpongeBob. And like, as a college student, I decided to take Italian because Assassin's Creed 2 was based in Italy. So I was like, you know what? I want to try to learn some things of the original language because that's where it's based. And it's stupid decisions like those that I've made that have impacted my life substantially.
Assassin's Creed is a good ass game.
It's a great game. Yeah, exactly. So I think what I want to do is like I want to provide that for kids too. You know, I want to be that character on a show that kids love so much that they make life decisions based on things that they grew up with. And that's something that we all do. Like so many kids will watch what's on TV and they'll absorb all of this information from the media and they'll base their lives off that. And it's important to be a good role model in those situations. If kids are looking up to you because of something that you've done in the voice acting world, then you have to be prepared that eyes are on you and that people are going to be watching you. So if you're doing good and you're being a good example for those kids, then they're going to look up to you and they're going to do things maybe based on your actions. You know, and that's just in a career sense what I want to do. That I think would, you know, what kind of impact I would want to make. So
no, man, yeah, I love it. You went very in deep. Like every question that I actually really went in detail and depth with, and really shows that we're gonna take a break. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Like I said, we are outside and we have no control over the noise. But we are back and we're at the end of the show, man. This whole show, I think this is my favorite so far. After all I've done, because it was just like so much gems and so much insight and so much knowledge dropped. And we did it in person. Like I said, he's right here sitting next to me. And this is my first in-person interview that he did. So I was like, that's why I feel like it's my favorite one so far. But man, it was just like so much within this episode. I don't even know where to start. I know where to finish. So I'm like, there's just so many questions. I just want to first off, I just want to thank you for coming on and really just giving us insight about you, your life, what you've been through, the voiceover business, the wedding photography business, your love life, how marriage is, how it is, and running a business as a couple, as well as giving us your thoughts on mental health, giving your thoughts on financial literacy, letting us know what's more important, time or money. You said time, which is like really valuable too. So I just want to thank you for everything that you just done on this today and this episode, man. I'm just like,
thank you. No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Where can my audience find you?
Find me on Instagram at aj.ver. and I mean that's the main one I use.
Okay.
I use my Twitter too. I have 2 Twitters. I have AJ Ver voiceover.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have my other one for Bucks fans only. It's my Bucks Twitter account.
Christ.
So I got that. But also my website, ajvervoiceover.com.
Got you.
But that's also on my Instagram that you can find that easily. But that features like some of the work I've done and just another way to contact me. My bio has my demo reels on there. That's if you're interested in checking out the voiceover side of things. But if you want to check out our wedding photography, that's at Ver the Makers, VER the Makers, and that features both Cassie and I's work that we've done for wedding videography and photography. So those are also.
All right. we out, people.
So
thank you for coming on.
Anyway,
I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.
We out.